Happy 2025, Comic Geeks, and welcome back to the Script Heroes podcast. The entire month of January here, we are going to be doing a retrospective on the year 2024, the comics, the single issues, the series, the artists, the writers, all of our favorites, put into beautiful top 10 lists. But before we jump in to a top 10 list, I have for us a little Script Heroes Wrapped action. I have gone through and pulled some beautiful stats, some little fun things from our episode list. This is a fun little surprise for Jay.
I had no idea this was happening.
I made a secret little document that specifically asked him not to look at it.
All right.
I'm very tempted to go into guessing game, but we have a whole episode to record, so I'm just going to tell you some fun facts.
This is a bad decision.
We have posted 50 full episodes this year. We missed 2 weeks out of the year. I think that's from San Diego Comic-Con. Curses upon them.
Yes.
But that is 50 full episodes. We posted 40 bonus episodes, which is bonkers.
Missed 12 weeks. Damn.
Yeah. Well, there was a period in the middle there where we were not really posting bonus episodes regularly.
Yeah.
But we came back with a fucking vengeance.
We're gonna shoot for 52 for 52 this year. That's gonna be
absolutely. And as of recording, we had 5 live streams. As of posting, we'll have had 6. We started live. Or no, I'm sorry. That was I'm a total liar. The one from today will not be in 2024.
Yes,
so we had a total of 5 live streams in the year of our Lord 2024.
Hellboy, and then 4 gaming streams, I assume.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. Now, Jay, this I do want you to guess at because you hinted at an inkling before we started recording.
Yeah.
In our main episodes, how many individual issues do you think we reviewed? And I do want to point out, we had one bonus episode where we went through and did a whole month of polls.
Yeah, we're not counting that as a main.
We're not counting that. That is a bonus episode.
Okay. I had just done the math of I think we average about 5 a week, and so I had gotten to about 250. So I'm gonna go 260 is gonna be my guess.
See, what you're forgetting is that for most of the year we were still doing back issue reviews, so we were not averaging 5 a week.
Okay.
Our main episode issues, we reviewed 227 books.
Damn,
which is still insane. That is still bonkers. And of those 227, Jay, how many do you think were new number ones? Not counting little one-shots.
I thought you were going to ask how many Polis Rex we gave out in the year.
Oh God, I didn't count that.
Let me think.
New number ones.
Here. New number ones. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say we did 45 new number ones.
I mean, in the realm of being close, you're not far. Out of 227, you're not terribly off. We did 66 new number ones.
A little more than I thought it would be. A little skewed more than number ones.
It's also a little less than is true because of that bonus episode month of polls. I was like,
I know we did Demon Hunter number 1 in that. I think we had a couple of.
We also did Hunger the Dusk book 2 in that. I don't know if I was counting that, but I didn't have to think about it. There were a few in there.
If you couldn't tell, at least I was rewatching a lot of the episodes to remember my thoughts on books. So this is why I have some of this in my head. I don't have that good of a memory.
No, he's just that good. He's just that good. And now, the last little bit of trivia I did is I actually tracked how many of each publisher we read. Do you have... And I want you to know, for you, because he makes a stink of it, I did separate out Skybound and Ghost Machine from Image. I didn't do whatever... I didn't separate out Giant Generator, because we didn't read enough of them for it to,
I hate count. That you did that. But that's okay.
Oh, I thought that you hated that I didn't.
No, you always consider them separate publishers, and I tell you they're the same publisher.
Okay, I'll merge them together then.
Skybound probably was pretty high just on its own, though, because of the Energon stuff.
Actually, not that high.
I gotta think Image is number 1.
Okay, 1 second, do quick math, and math I do is quick.
With the combination, I have to think Image is number 1. We did a ton of Image books.
With the combination, Image is number 1. Yeah. With 62 individual issues from Image.
That fully tracks.
But Hot on Its Heels is number 2.
Ooh, Hot on Its Heels. It's so... we've been skewing DC more recently, but I'm wondering if that's enough. I gotta think it's DC number 2.
It's DC number 2, baby.
Okay.
DC, we read 58 issues.
Okay.
So it's not even like we had a really strong DC start, I think, because we'd been reading a lot of Dawn of DC stuff.
Yeah.
And then over the summer we were just like, fuck this shit. And
it was,
we came back to
absolute power. We just didn't want to be bothered with absolute power.
Exactly. But yeah, we came back to that shit. We ended up with 58. DC was regularly in the lead as I was tallying.
Yeah. Do you want me to keep going, or you just?
Yeah, go for number 3. It's a huge drop off.
My rough thing here is we've been heavy Mad Cave for the past like 6 months, but we were not heavy Mad Cave before that. So I don't know if that's going to be.
I don't think I'm actually going to make you guess this, because we go from 62 Image books to 58 DC books to our next highest is 26 Marvel books. I think Ultimate Spider-Man helped that a lot. All of the Daredevil.
Yeah, I mean Ultimate Spider-Man is 12. Yeah. So that's right there.
Next up on our list is Mad Cave. We read 19 Mad Cave books.
Very skewed toward the back half of the year, though, I'd figure.
Yes, yeah. 16 Boom books, because that had things like Minor
Boom
Arcana,
beat out
Lotus
IDW,
Land.
I'm shocked.
IDW was deeply...
in addition to, the
well, keep in mind, Hunger in the Dusk only had like 3 issues come out that in the entire year.
I guess that's fair. No, it was.
Or it might have been
that.
4, and then one of them was in the bonus episode.
Oh yeah, the ones in the bonus episode. Yeah, that tracks. Okay. Yeah.
And then we did a lot of Turtles at the end of the year, but other than that, we didn't really have IDW books.
Combined would be like a decent enough when we're only in like the 20s, but I guess that's fair.
11 IDW books.
Yeah.
Who's after IDW? After IDW, we get into...
Did you jump to IDW? Was it Mad Cave that... So when Mad Cave...
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Boom was the one that we had just done. Boom, we did 16 books.
Okay.
Keep in mind that also had The Displaced, that also had Lotus Land.
Yep.
And we read a bunch
Dark
of those.
Horse has got to be up there with like Heartpiercer.
Dark Horse is our next one with 15, which is actually not that much, because we did a couple of new number 1s from Dark Horse, but the only one that we really stuck with was Heartpiercer. And that was only 4 books.
Because I don't know why in my head for a second I was thinking that Minor Arcana was Dark Horse. That's Boom, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
That's Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's Dark Horse coming in with 15
going. I'm gonna let you go without talking.
IDW we had 11 books for, and then we get into the single digits. Magma Comics we had 7 books for. Massive,
which is a lot for how many they've put out.
Right.
Yeah, they're very
because that's the entirety of the Pedestrian. That's Night of the Slashers. And they didn't
exist at the start of the year.
And that's Rome Eternal.
Well, they existed. They weren't their own publisher yet. Yeah. They hadn't Anyway.
But yeah, Magma with 7, Massive with 4, which is literally just Zorro. Antarctic with 3, which is Winnie the Pooh Demon Hunter. Oni with 2, which is surprisingly 2 different series. It's Invasive and Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah.
So Oni.
We did 2 from Invasive, but that's another one that fell in the bonus episode. Yeah.
And then we have both Dynamite and Archie Press at 1 each, and then we had 2 that were just. When I gave them a quick Goog to see who the publisher was, because I had forgotten, I was just like, oh. I'm not going to write that down. So we have a category of other, which was 2.
And I know one of those is from American Mythology, and one is...
I think the other one is from Godhood Comics.
Oh, yeah, that tracks. That tracks. Yeah. That was a good call. It's a good call.
So it's just I'm going to make an other category for when there's stuff that I know that we didn't read a second series from. But yeah, that is our 2024 Script Heroes Wrapped.
That was very fun. I'm glad you did that. That was very fun.
I thought you would enjoy it. But now it's time to get back in.
I'm just always terrified when Katie does something without telling me, because she is an agent of chaos, is what I'll say. I thought she was going to come. She told me she had a surprise. I thought she was going to come dressed up in a stupid costume.
I mean, I don't even know what that would look like, but I
thought you were gonna have like all the like the New Year's shit on you, like the glasses.
Oh, okay. I had a very tame New Year's. I spent it with a nice dog, and we went to bed at like 12:15.
I wouldn't have put it past you to get it just for this, though.
That is a very fair assertion.
Okay, in any case,
but let's get right into our main video here.
So, I think we're gonna like alternate the order in which we do it. So, one of us will start with 10, and then the other one will do 10, and then the same person then will do 9 after their 10. And
Yes.
We'll go like that. So do you want to start, or do you want to go second for number 10 here?
I can start us off.
Start us off here.
All right, so I'm starting with a more recent book than I was expecting.
Recency bias right here. No, I'm joking.
Recency bias at number 10 on the list. I think it's actually, it's
10 out of 226 though. So like everything on this list is a heavy hitter. So
that's fair. Anyway, that's fair. My number 10 book of the year is Minor Arcana number 1. This is Jeff Lemire, of course. On this list I considered going with Minor Arcana number 4 for like a real recency bias, but I scrolled through both of them again, and I was like, no, number 1 is so solid. It's so good. It's so visceral. I love it so much. It earned its spot down here. It did have to fight with a few other things, though.
We're just starting here, so a little, do you want to give us the date and the creative team?
Oh shit, you're right. I said it's from Jeff Lemire, and it came out on September 4th of this year.
September 4th, nice.
Yeah. All right, Jay, what is your number 10? I knew you were gonna do
Minor Arcana. Like I'm gonna try not to like too heavily spoil like things by saying stuff like this, but I will say there was a Minor Arcana book on my short list. It was issue 4 that was on my short list.
I considered issue 4. And then I reread both, and I'm like, God damn, I love issue 1.
But in any case, just give me half a second. I just accidentally closed out of the tab with the book instead of,
Magic.
Instead of copying it.
This is a very exciting episode because we're doing so much stuff secretly from each other.
Yeah.
But there's so much to do.
There's so much to do. But my number 10 is Local Man issue 12. This is my favorite issue of Local Man from the year. It's definitely my favorite since Arc 1. I don't know if it's... Arc 1 was phenomenal as well. But this is... Anyways, this came out on July 24th. It's by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeces, and I love this issue. It's just that really good issue with all of the Jack Inga stuff. It's got, Slick 2.0 making some great stuff. The Faceless Void is, like, unmasked, and there's that awesome joke about, like, the look there. There's a great scene with the chief. Like, there's just so much emotion in this issue, along with the humor.
Which is really when Local Man was at its best.
Exactly. This is only 2 issues away from the end. I think it went 13 and then 25. But this was the peak of late Local Man for me, and this was so good. So
good. But are you ready to bring us in with our number 9s?
Yeah. I will bring us in with our number 9s here. I'm gonna go recency bias on this one. I'm joking. I don't know. This is just an issue that I really, really, really enjoy. But we're gonna be doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation number 1 at the number 9 slot. This came out on September 18th. This is by Tom Waltz, Eric Burnham, Vincenzo Federici, and Matteo Santaluco. It was so nice to have Tom Waltz back in the main universe. We didn't read TMNT Alpha number 1 on the pod. Otherwise, that probably would have been on my list. And I said to myself, I'm like, I'm almost glad we didn't read the last Ronin issues on the pod, because that probably would have been 3 out of my top 5. But this is just such a great issue. It was great to see Waltz back. It was great to see Matteo Santaluco back. All these great creators on this issue. I liked having both stories too. It felt like double for your buck there. And there's just a lot of great Raph, and it's Raph like encountering Metalhead, and that encounter that we hadn't really gotten before. So that was really, really exciting for me. So yeah,
I love it. Also, I feel I must say it every time a Mutant Nation comes up. It was so approachable as someone who wasn't familiar with the Turtles. Familiar. Like with the IDW Turtles. Like it was really a good jumping on point. Super rad.
Yeah. What's your 9?
My number 9 is coming to us from the writer-artist Shane Connery-Volk. My number 9 is going to be Prairie Gods number 2. I really love this as a single issue. I know that you were more of a number 3 guy, and I'm kind of expecting to see that on your list. But the cowboy really came for me this year, and this was some rad cowboy shit. I had a lot of fun with this. This came out on October 16th. So that is actually my most recency biased book on the list.
Nice.
But yeah, super fun, super rad.
Yeah,
I'm excited
that's
to
I
see
was expecting some
another
fairy
issue.
gods on your list somewhere. Like I knew
Yeah.
that was coming, but you're in full recency bias on the early one, so I'm interested to see how it goes.
I am wondering how much of that was me being like, oh, I'm experiencing recency bias, so knocking him down a few pegs.
Very fair, very fair. No, that's super fair. Yeah, Prairie Gods is such a Katie series, so
It
I was
really,
coming
really, really is.
on your list. You kind of threw there that you put it over through. I was actually like, once you put this here, I'm like, oh, is Prairie Gods getting 2 slots on your top 10 here? But
I'm giving you a
it
little bit
sounds
of a
like
spoiler.
sounds
I,
like it's not the case.
I don't know if it was a conscious choice, but I did in fact. I don't think there was any part of me that was going to put 2 books from the same series. Like, no matter how much I like them, there are too many good books to talk about.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna.
That's so fair.
contribute to
That's so fine. That's so fine. But we're going from literally my most recent book, being from October, to my oldest book, being from January 10th. If you want to scroll down to number 8.
Yeah, I forgot that I had to do that.
That's on you, brother. This is going to be Transformers number 4. Daniel Warren Johnson on the writer and artist slot here. This is the one after the kid gets shot, and we have the great
which was my favorite.
interaction.
And I was very upset to remember that was in 2023, and I couldn't pull out my favorite issue of Transformers. But in any case.
But yeah, this is right after that episode. The interactions between the kids in the hospital and also the dad and Optimus Prime, the way that the Autobots reacted in the world felt really, really great, really, really tense, but also intensely humanizing for them. It was a place where I really think that the characterization of the Transformers themselves was top of the game.
Oh yeah, there was something really special about Daniel Warren Johnson when he was doing this book on his own. I enjoyed it beyond that, but it was real special. I honestly though I don't think I was expecting you to have a Transformers book on your list. So
the thing is,
that's a shock to me right here.
This issue is so fucking good.
It's not deserving way, but like in a I would not have expected it. But
I don't think I when we first talked about doing this episode, I did not expect there to be a Transformers books. And then the first kind of metric that I gave myself for when I was picking books was, what issues do I viscerally remember? Yeah. Like, what moments in the year am I like, those moments made my comic reading experience for 2024? Optimus Prime in the hospital really did it for me.
It was a brutal issue. Like it was it was fully effective. Yeah.
But what's your number 8, Jayberg?
Yeah, my number 8 was one that I knew was going to be on this list when we first decided to do it. I have a few of those where I was like, this was always going to be on the list because I remembered it being something that had to be on the list. Mm-hmm. This is going to be Kardak the Mystic.
Love it, yeah.
At number 8. This is
our one Archie book.
Not to bury the lead, but this is the best one shot of the year in my opinion, at least that we read on the pod. Like it is so ridiculously good. By the way, this came out August 14th, and it's by Joe Corallo and Butch Mappa. This was, introducing an old character to a new audience, having to do a full story, an origin, all of this, and they balanced it so incredibly. It was so cool. As somebody who's big into like magic and magicians, like it also just got that in me. And,
importantly, dear listeners, Jay was so into magic and magicians that he did have a magician name in his youth.
I didn't have a magician name. I just did magic.
Did you have a wrestler name?
I had things. We're gonna. I did not have a magician name. I feel like that's something that needs to be. I did a lot of stupid stuff in my youth, but I did just go by my normal name when I did magic, which was maybe a bad decision. But in any case, this was super cool. I really liked. I was really impressed with the amount they were able to do in this one issue. Mm-hmm. Like it was so ridiculously incredible to me. And and Butch Mappa is just like, whew, that art is gorgeous. But yeah, this was great.
Well, what's ringing in your number 7?
Ringing in my number 7 is gonna be my earliest book of the year.
Ooh.
I got you beat, Katie. This is from January 3rd.
Damn, beat me by a week.
I beat you by a week. This is Giant Robot Hellboy issue 3.
That was on my short list.
Yeah, it's so ridiculously good. January 3rd by Mike Mignola and Duncan Figurato, like we talked about this so at length in that review because this took a series that was just dumb fun and turned it into like a masterpiece of comic books, which is an incredible feat for a single issue. It has this epic fight. You have Ghost Girl and Giant Robot Hellboy then like going in depth because Hellboy's unconscious for this entire issue. You get Giant Robot Hellboy like gaining sentience, this incredible interaction. A bomb is set off by the government people, and we don't know if Ghost Girl's going to get out alive. Like this went from dumb Giant Robot Hellboy to literally pulling at my heartstrings and having me go like questioning like my place in the like this was absurd. Like this was just absurd as an issue. It is so good. It is why Mike Mignola is one of the greatest creators to ever do it. Like it is so good, and it had to be on this list. This was another one that I knew from the start because this was like you said like those things that you remember from
yeah.
This was the one that I remembered from like I was like, was this even 2024? Looked it up. It was. I was like, that's on the list. Like that is yeah, this was great. This was so fucking good.
Love that. It definitely deserves to be there. My number 7 is a bit later on. It's from August 14th of the year, and it is Heartpiercer number 4, the conclusion to that first arc. So phenomenal.
I was wondering if make your list.
Yeah. It's not only absolutely gorgeous, it's Rich Doak and Gavin Smith. The art phenomenal, the death and resurrection of our main character amazing. Her new design when she comes out, fantastic. The way that they captured the like gravity of the battle in this city, the siege on the city, and then the 1v1 combat between her and the werewolf, amazing, truly stupendous. Absolutely loved this book. Absolutely loved this issue. I went through and I reread number 1 and 4 because I was like, which one to pick? And I landed on number 4 because it was beautiful. It was amazing. And I love that we have a little dark horse duo here.
Yeah. I mean, this is the dark horse right there. But that's you're gonna double us up here. So let's
I am gonna double us up here, which means my number 6 comes in. And this one, I was so mad because it was one of the early ones that I put on my list. And as I was adding more things on the list, I'm like, oh, just barely I have to move it down a spot. Just barely I have to move it down a spot. And yeah, all the way to 6. But this is coming to us from April of this year. I had to count real quick. April 3rd.
The April special? Is that what's about to happen?
It's not. It is Rook Exodus number 1. Okay. I regret to unbury the lead. The April special did not make my list as much as I really wanted it to. But this is writer Jeff Johns and artist JC Fabach. And oh my god, this series just grabbed us right away. It was such a good first issue. Especially coming off of the little preview we got in the Ghost Machine sampler. It got us right away. The gorgeous art. This is the issue. What I specifically did is I was like, what Rook was it 1 or 2 where Rook was going through the like apartment building and crossing off all of the
that's
things.
Like the thing one.
I was like, whichever one that is the issue
to put in. Not to like
what did you think?
I thought you would have put in either 5 or 6.
I did quite like them. I feel like issue 1 had that like really great hook on you. Yeah. That I think pushed it over a bit.
That's fair.
Because it's like, okay, no, it ends up being just as cool later on, but I feel like the first issue was like already so cool at the bat.
Yeah.
But what is your number 6?
Funnily enough, a book that came out the same week as Giant Robot Hellboy. I have 2 from the same week. You have 2 January 3rds? I have 2 January 3rds. At number 6 on my list is The Hunger in the Dusk issue 5.
There you go. Interesting, because isn't issue 5 the solo?
No, that's issue 6.
That's issue 6.
That's issue 6. This is the issue before that. This is, by the way, by G. Willow Wilson and Christian Wildgoose. Like I said, January 3rd. This is the issue where the Vanguard have kidnapped one of the the last man standing, Mikkel. They have to get him back. We get this amazing working together between Cal and Tara, and then it all blows up at the end of the issue as they have this like supernatural, emphatic fight that makes you feel things, and then Tara leaves. It's such a good, perfect moment. This is the one where we're like, this should have been the
This should have been the arc ender.
So good. So yeah, this was what I saw. I was like, wait a minute. The first volume of Hunger in the Dusk is still in the year, and then I was like, and this is not just the last. I'm like, this is there. Like, this is so good. This was. Like,
so
this
thank
was
you so much, Hunger in the Dusk, for getting delayed so that issue 5 was in 2024.
Yeah, but this was really, really good. And Christian Wildgoose is like in his bag with the art in this one.
Oh yeah,
like this one is gorgeous. All the Vanguard fights and everything, like just so good.
I haven't trimmed my list yet, but as I was going through and doing things, I was also kind of keeping an eye out for our best artist writer series.
Oh yeah,
and Chris Wildgoose is very much on it for artist. I'm like, oh god, I love every bit of Chris Wildgoose art.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yes, I was also making note of things as we did this. But
you're bringing us into number 5.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to some recency bias here. I say recency bias. That's just my way of saying it's a recent book. This is not me genuinely being like I'm being recency biased here. But at number 5, we have The Moon is Following Us. Issue 2. This is the real world issue. By the way, this is by Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo. Came out October 23rd. This is the real world issue that explains their daughter's condition. You get all this background. It's like everything you wanted after that, like great engaging issue 1. But this was the emotion. This was the like, we're gonna tug at your heartstrings. We're gonna get this family. Like, I think we talked about how great like their relationship is. Like while they're also like at each other. It's also like an issue that is much more Daniel Warren Johnson art heavy compared to a lot of the other issues. And then when Riley Rossmo gets to do those few pages, they're phenomenal. So this was my favorite issue so far of The Moon is Following Us, and it had to be. It had to be number 5 on my list.
I was considering A Moon is Following Us book, and I believe I was considering number 1 because number 1 was so stupendous. But number 2 really was a great follow up to that. Yeah. But my number 5. I think we all knew it was going to be here from Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman. We're going to throw in the Pedestrian number 1.
Yeah, that is the issue you were going to do. I knew that
issue 1. So I was taking a look at my little list, and I won't share my fun facts yet, but I had a number of number 1s on there, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense for me. I love a good number 1. I love a start of things. But yeah, the Pedestrian number 1, it captures the tone of the series so well. It introduces this absurd character, because I was going to say this absurd world, but not really. It introduces an incredibly normal world with an absurd character who somehow fits the bill just perfectly for that. They absolutely knocked it out of the park with issue 1, and it's stolen my number 5 spot there. Sorry, Rick Extus.
Do you want to go right into your? I have no surprises. I don't have any questions as to why this. I guess my question is there a reason this wasn't higher on your list? Because I'm shocked at this. Is it just like the strength of the other things here?
I think it is just the strength of the other things. Like I look at my top 4 and I'm like, oh yeah, those all deserve to be there. I did waffle over my 4 and 5 though, which I suppose is as good a segue as any into my number 4. And I think this one really benefits from, I think it's a spiritual number 1 for me. So it really benefits from then rocketing into something much longer that got more time to stick around. This is Ultimate Spider-Man number 2. I went so hard for this issue. This is what I wanted out of Ultimate Spider-Man number 1.
This was going to be the issue. Because I remember you being a little hesitant on 1 because of the non-Spider-Man.
Exactly. And then this one brought in, it was just such good superheroing was the thing. And it was really duking it out with the Pedestrian for the number 4 spot. But yeah, it won out, I think, because it then gets to go on for, 12 issues instead of 4 or 5. Oh god, 5, 4. In any case, it gets at least double, possibly triple the runtime of the Pedestrian.
Pedestrian went 4.
Yes, that's what I thought, and then I was like, wait, sudden insecurity. I think I threw myself off because we talked to them about the Pedestrian in a different episode. So
Yeah.
we talked about it on the pod 5 times.
Yes, that is true.
But yeah, I love this issue. It's got great Spider-Man, and it's got great Petering. It's the start of Peter's really adorable relationship with his daughter. It's just a great issue all around.
Yeah, this
goddamn, Marco. Oh right, this is from the Pedestrian was from August 7th, and this is from February 21st.
Yeah,
and our creative team, exactly early on, is Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto. And goddamn, Marco Cicchetto, you talented bastard. And Jonathan Hickman, you talented bastard. But I can't not mention Marco Cicchetto.
I knew it was going to be issue 2, but I was like, it has to be a Cicchetto issue. Like, that's not even a question. I know Katie's got a Cicchetto issue. It's going to happen.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
But what is your number 4?
Yeah. We're going into, like, the territory now of just ridiculous. Like, all these books have been ridiculous. But we are really hitting the point where 3 and 4 I was really flip-flopping on, and then 1 and 2 I was really flip-flopping on. Like, I had those 2 tiers of, like, these are the best 4 books, and they were in 2 tiers. But for my number 4, I landed on The Six Fingers, issue 3. This is from April 24th by Dan Waters and Sumit Kumar. This is the issue where Johannes is looking into the killer before him, and Ada is finally becoming involved, and Ada sees him kill the last killer in front of her, and then he's going into the mechanics, and you have, like, him and the detective on the opposite side of the wall. Like, God, it's such a good issue. It is, like, your blood's pumping this whole issue. You're there, you're learning things. Like, this is the first issue that really started to, like, pull back the curtain. This is when the series went from, like, good to, like, special, if that makes sense.
It does. And, it does.
Yeah, this was crazy. I absolutely love The Six Fingers number 3. I knew The Six Fingers was going to make it onto this list. It was, I'll talk, like, kind of more as I go through. Like, there were books that were very close to having 2 on the list. Six Fingers was one of those. Six Fingers actually had 4 books that were on my short list.
Amazing.
I had to reread the entirety of The Six Fingers as I was making my decisions, because I was just like, why is all of this so good?
It's so fucking good. Ugh. Dan Waters, you mad lad.
So good. But we're going to segue into the book that I was debating seeding with it. And we're going to paste in Drawing Blood, issue 4.
I figured that was popping up on yours.
Drawing Blood was, in fact, the closest to having 2 on the list, as literally Drawing Blood 2 became, like, my number 11 as I was going through and doing things, and I was like, it's not going to get 2 on the list, but it came very close. Drawing Blood 4 came out on July 31st. It's by David Avallone, Kevin Eastman, Troy Little, and Ben Bishop. This is the Comic-Con issue with all of the fantastic parody of real-world Turtle events, all of that awesome stuff. You also get the great interaction with the, like, young artist that's up and coming as he, like, as books, like, promises to publish a book, which is, like, that phenomenal heartfelt stuff in there, while you have him, like, dancing around oh god, not Michael Bay, what's his name, Daniel Harper, dancing around Harbor and, like, getting one up on him. It's just the perfect issue of Drawing Blood, and one of my
I feel like it's the start of books really like taking control of his own shit, which was really great, which was really, really wonderful. There was no doubt in my mind Drawing Blood was going to be on your list. But that brings us to my number 3, which I think is another one that top 3, baby, that there was no doubt something was going to show up on my list for it. This is going to be another number 1. And tied for my earliest book of the year. This came out on January 10th.
So you also had 2 on the same week.
I did.
January, funnily enough.
And it's Zorro fucking 1, dude. Like, I reread so much Zorro in the weirdest order when I was trying to decide which of the 4 to put on my list.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of Zorro too.
I was just like, you know what? We're going with number 1. It's got the great flashback at the start. It's got the really wonderful interactions between Diego and Rosa before they really start to deal with the whole Zorro thing.
Yeah.
It's got an amazing fucking fight scene. I think actually 2 amazing fight scenes. That I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm choosing number 1 again. Because god fucking damn it, Sean Gordon Murphy, you absolute mad lad. Yeah, I fucking love Zorro so much. There was no doubt in my mind it was going to be in my top 5, whatever issue it ended up being.
Genuinely, if you had asked me a prediction, this is what I would have thought would have been number 1 on your list. Like this
I thought
exact
about
issue,
it.
I would have went Zorro 1 is probably 1 on Katie's list, and
I thought about it.
I came close, but yeah, that would have been like I knew Zorro 1 was going to be the one you picked, especially as I was rereading them. I was like, yeah, this is the one that Katie absolutely loved. It's
so
great.
good.
Yeah.
But that brings us to my number 2.
Yeah, what's your number 2, Katie? We're in the top 2. These are the
I would
real
ask you to predict, but I don't want you to try to, or I don't want to have to try to predict yours.
Yeah. I feel like mine are actually, at least series-wise, fairly easily predictable to land on the top 2. But
you
at
forget
this point,
that I'm a dummy.
No. Honestly, I don't know that I can predict yours here even if I try, because like I feel like you've hit the things that I wanted you to hit.
Like, there's not a series that has.
There's one, but I don't think I wouldn't have thought it would have been this high.
Really?
So, yeah.
It's number 3 of Ain't No Grave, baby.
Oh, I forgot about Ain't No Grave. That's not what I was thinking of.
Yeah, this fucking book. Okay, first of all, because I forget to say, this came out on August 10th of this, or I'm sorry, July 10th of this year. Have you noticed I'm bad at months?
Yes.
And this is our boys Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. The art in I was like, okay, what do I think is going to be my number 1? And I was like, I feel like perhaps the casino issue of Ain't No Grave is right on up there. And I went through and I reread it, and I wanted to vomit after. I was so happy. I was just like, the fact that rereading this book made me so fucking excited again. It's like, this book had an effect on me that very few books ever have. So much of it is just the gorgeous parallel storytelling of the flashbacks with Ryder and the present day in the casino. And it's also got one of the best interactions with her and her husband, where they're gonna lose their farm, and she goes and cheats at gambling and be's a bad person, and he's like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? And she's like, it saved our farm, and he's like, but at what cost? And she's like, and he's like, It's so good. It's so good. I fucking love Ain't No Grave. Like, I'm cheesing just talking about it, so we should move on to Joseph Jasinowski, your number 2 book of 2024.
It's going to be the first time we've doubled up on a series. We have not doubled up on a series yet so far, right?
Correct.
This is going to be the first time we've had the same series. We did not choose the same issue from the series, though. I have Rook Exodus, issue 5, which is my favorite issue of the series. This came out September 4th. This is by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. This was the other series. This was like right below Drawing Blood in terms of how close it came to having a number 2, with issue 6 being really close as well. But this was the issue that it was just, I knew this was going to be really close to the top of the list. Like, this is, so I think the title of the episode that we review this in is Best Issue of the Year. Is this our best? Yeah. So like, this was an early call from me, and it wasn't quite, but I didn't bullshit that hard. But yeah, this is the issue where it's Pumbaa and Rook in the forest, and Rook's getting closer with the crows. You get the flashbacks and more about his father and all that backstory, and you get him finally like becoming like accepting the crows, and all of the buildup of whether or not the animals actually cared about the wearer like finally comes to fruition. Like, this was the issue where like I was already in the series, like, okay, Jason Fabok's in his bag. Jeff Johns is doing way better work than what he was doing at DC. This was, and I think I said in that review where I just put like, Jeff Johns is back. Like, this is the Green Lantern, epic saga Jeff Johns, who is like weaving a tangled web of incredible storytelling. And Jason Fabok killed it.
Jason Fabok, the entire fucking... Jason Fabok never left.
Jason Fabok never left. No, Jason Fabok legitimately never left. I don't know that man has ever illustrated something like not even bad, but just not like incredible in his life. Like, that man is
truly astounding.
But yeah, this was always going to be very close to top. But this and number 1 was a hard back and forth. It was. I think I reread each of them like close to 3 times as I just like plopped their order, and I was like, because I when I hadn't read anything and I was just like ordering, like I had them in the reverse order, and then I started my reading and I flipped them, and then I was like, wait, let me, and I do think I put the correct one at number 1, but it was a very hard flip flop. But
I'm really excited.
There's a segue. as we go to I was about to just paste in the same exact thing again. This is August 14th, 2024. And this is the first time we've doubled up on the exact issue of a book. It's Heartpiercer issue number 4.
So fucking good.
This is the best issue of the year, in my opinion. Like, this is it's, by the way, it's by Rich Duick and Gavin Smith, as Katie said. This is perfect. This is the perfect, like, conclusion to a miniseries with opening the door for more. You have Atala versus the Howler. The Howler goes from a great villain to, like, one of the most intimidating villains you'll ever come across, as he gets stabbed through the eye and then starts quipping about wanting one of their eye patches, like, once he kills them. Atala dies and comes back, and it's a beautiful page before she comes back with her new army. You get all the stuff of her, like, beyond the realm of life. You get her with the unicorn that she slayed in issue 1, and then you actually, like, get her heart-piercing Howler to, like, come into the title, and then you get that, like, final ending beat of, like, okay, now we have the team for more adventures, and I'm like, yes, perfect conclusion, open the door, give me volume 2 right now. And I've talked about this creative team. Rich Duick is incredible. Gavin Smith is, this would be the one where I'm barely. Gavin Smith is, I think, unsurprisingly, definitely going to be on my top 10 artist list of the year. Because Gavin Smith is the man, and I really, really need to get an original art page from Heartpiercer. It's what this is reminding me of. So, Gavin Smith, we'll talk as I give you money.
Amazing. No, well deserved.
Yeah. What's your number one?
My number one is from February 14th.
Ooh,
and
early.
It is early. We are with Petrol,
yes.
baby. This is Petrol Head number 4. This is the issue where we get the interactions between Supercar Star and our boy Hybrid. So 1, it's super fucking funny, which I think when I have looked back on Petrol Head, I've been like, yeah, what a great series. What a gorgeous series. Yeah, what a heartfelt series. I always forget how, like, legitimately incredibly funny it is all the way through. Like, it has such a unique fucking tone to it. This is also the one where Dave flies up through the smog and is, like, falling apart. And then he gets up there and it's like, oh, we do have this elevator. You can get out. And then Dave gets fucking killed.
Poor Dave.
Poor Dave. Justice for Dave. And then we have, like, the super ominous lead into the concluding issue. It's so fucking phenomenal. I love this issue so much. In the same way where when I reread Ain't No Grave, it, like, had my heart beating and me, like, super excited, be like, God, this is what it's all about. When I reread this issue, I was like, oh God, no. As I was going through, I knew it was the issue where Dave died, but I was watching him fly up and I'm like, no, please, no, as I'm, like, turning pages, hoping for a different outcome. The amount of emotional shit that is going on here, the amount of just cool fucking art from Piepar, and Rob Williams being the writer. It's really a phenomenal issue and a great, like, penultimate issue of an arc.
Yeah,
it's so scary.
Yeah. Well said. I was very sad that Petrol did not make it on my list anymore, but a lot of the issues weren't this year, so
that's fair. Yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes. But
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, that's both of our top 10s of 2024. There's 19 books in there for y'all to read because Heartpiercer number 4 was so good it had to be on there twice.
It made both the lists. And I want to show people how many fucking books were close to making. Like, look at this list. Look at the length of this fucking list as I just have everything on there, man. Like, this is
my beautiful mess of books and series where I'm like, something from there. It's so silly. Do you have any honorable mentions you want to give?
I am shocked was not able to make it on here. Like,
do you want to shout any honorable mentions?
Yeah, let's shout some honorable mentions here. I have I'm gonna fuck up the issue number because I don't know why I wrote second issue of, like, the Creators Run instead of, it's the second issue of John Layman's Titans Run.
Titans, yeah, I think that's 17.
Getting an honorable mention. Ultimate Spider-Man number 5 is getting an honorable mention. Rook Exodus 6.
Yep.
Zorro 1. Void Rivals 10.
Yes.
TMNT 4. And Murder Kingdom 1. That's gonna be my honorable mentions list.
I love that. I have a few repeats from you. But also Our Bones Dusk number 3, I almost put on mine.
Funnily, I have 2 and 4 on my short list, but not
wild.
But...
I think you and I were very back and forth because I really liked Atticus and you really liked the kid.
Yeah, I really liked the
Addis.
apocalyptic thing, and you really liked the like, yeah.
And we both liked both, but we were so flopped on like which one we were super jazzed on. The April special, it was really great. If only it was just the Detective Chimp story. Because the other ones are all phenomenal, but not like top 10 level phenomenal. The Displaced number 3, I am trying to remember which episode. I read so many fucking books leading up to this to be like, what the fuck? I think that's one of the ones where there's a lot of tension in the group, which is, all of them, but what fucking ever. It was well done in all of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I almost did Morningstar number 1. I really loved the first issue of that. Like, the entire series was great, but the first issue was really wonderful in how, like, in our movement from the normal to the supernatural. That was really wonderful. I think they handled the start of that series really well, and the rest of it. Let's see. I almost put Absolute Batman number 1 on mine. It was just so good, and I think that's a lot of like.
I did the funny thing is I only looked at the things we did as part of like the.
Oh shit! You're right. We didn't do that actually on the pod. Or I guess we did do it on the pod.
Yeah. So I think that would have been fine.
Yeah. I almost put Absolute Batman number 1 because it was really fucking good. Surprise. Okay. I almost put Nightwing 119. Dan Waters, our boy.
Absolute Batman. So you almost put Absolute Batman, but not almost Absolute Wonder Woman. I'm surprised.
No, because like I really like Absolute Wonder Woman. As a first issue, they were doing very different things, which is totally like fair and good. And both are fair and good ways to start, but I feel like because of the thing that Absolute Batman was doing, it made it a stronger single issue. Whereas I liked Wonder Woman's more as a start of a series. That makes sense. And then the last one that I almost put on, I almost put a Turtles book on my list. I almost did TMNT number 4.
Yeah, that was also mine. I decided that Mutant Nation 1 was a little bit above on mine, but yeah, TMNT 4 was really, really close.
Yeah, it was really great. But yeah, there are honorable mentions and also our beautiful top 10s each. Jay, which top 10 are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going to be, you might see some, in theory, repeats or overlapping because we're going to be talking about the best series of 2024.
Yes.
So we'll be doing same thing, but with entire series or, mini-series or whatever, which is going to be very interesting and very fun.
Yes. I am very excited to see what remains. And I suppose the question, what is our criteria for a series in 2024?
So this was where how I at least was thinking about. So firstly, it's the whole series, so you can't be like, oh, John Layman's Titans. Like, no, you'd have to say Titans for 2025 or 2024 rather. To like series. So multiple issues had to have come out in the year. You can't sit there and like say something where like one issue came out this year. Like I don't think that counts. But beyond that, as long as at least 2 issues come out, I'm personally going to take into account, I think, how many issues came out. Like something that only a 2 or only a 3 come out might not, factor in as great as something that had like more come out. But I don't think we're going to set any limit. It's like you have to have, as long as multiple issues come out to equal series, you can choose it.
There you go. And that's, so like Giant Robot Hellboy would be ineligible because only one came
only
out
one issue. Only one issue, so that's ineligible. But
and I'm trying to think if we read a new number 1 last week. Did we?
Yeah, I was about to like say like to put, again, those are us. You could do, but like in theory, if like John Layman's Titans was a new book, you could say that even though it only had 3 issues.
Right,
or like the Moon is following us. We're 3 issues into that or 4 issues into that. Like you could do that.
It's operating at a disadvantage because it doesn't have an end, but
Yeah. Exactly.
Rad.
But yeah,
I am super excited for that because this was incredibly fun to do. A real walk down memory lane. Check out this past Wednesday, we had our regularly scheduled programming, an episode in which we talked about cool books for sure. Do you remember what any of them were from this past
Wednesday? I sat here and reread so many different books.
Right? That's the problem, is everything's so jumbled right now.
I think they're the books that are right here, right?
I didn't get my physical.
Like Green Lantern, Green Arrow, right? Like, was it these books?
Yes.
Or was that a week ago? Or was that too long
In any
ago?
case, there's tons of good content where we're talking about books. And tons of content.
Moon is following us, Ultimate Spider-Man, and...
the last...
Titans.
Or no, it'd be
Was
the
that-
one after that,
Oh,
because
the one
the
after.
Ultimate Spider-Man was in December.
Shoot, then I don't know.
Me either.
Um,
In any case, I'm sure there were really good books. We've just read a lot of books since then. But we also have some content that's not books, and that's our Marvel Rivals stream.
That's
It
right.
already happened today, dear
you can
day of
watch it after
watchers. But join us pretty much every Saturday.
Yeah, 9 to
From
11 Eastern.
8 to 10 Central.
Yeah, Katie's on Twitch. I am on our YouTube gaming channel. Both are linked in the description. But yeah,
A new season is coming, so we'll unfortunately have to lose all of our very good ranked progress. When the season starts anew. I think I saw a spoiler that the Fantastic Four are joining.
Katie ignoring the fact that I just said that.
Did you? I am ignoring that fact then. But in any case, that takes us to the end of our list. Huge ups to all of the creatives on all of these books. And here's to more in 2025.
Yeah, check these out, and we're gonna like Katie said, next week we have the series, and then we're gonna have writers and artists as well for the last 2 episodes. So it's gonna be a fun series, and that's that. So hopefully we'll see you next week, Comic Geeks.